Well, hey, how you doing, everybody? It's me, Waddles, and lads, today's the day. Minecraft 1.20, it's out now. And from only the most beautiful looking armor, to some really amazing new wood types, to some cool redstone capabilities, Minecraft 1.20 is a big update. With a brand new Bodacious big update out now, you know how it goes. Today we're going to take a look at everything in Minecraft 1.20. Do me some quick favors, real quick, down in the comments, drop your favorite 1.20 feature. While you're headed down there, delete that like button. And friends, let's do this. If you're just coming back to Minecraft with a big update, hi, how you doing? Welcome back. For a quick backstory on Minecraft 1.20, it's different. Of course, I've been around here covering this update through the snapshots, and wow, it just feels so real to have this update actually out now. After a total of 6 snapshots, 7 pre-releases, and 1 release candidate on Minecraft Java, 1.20 is out. But for OGs, that might not sound very much, and that's because it's not. With 1.20, they did things pretty differently. Technically, the first snapshot with 1.20 things was in 1.19.3. That was 22W42A. Long story short, we got these fancy new things called experimental features. We'll talk a little bit more about those later, though. For now, let's talk about bamboo. For our very first new feature of the day, the brand new beautiful bamboo wood set. Look at this stuff, it's fire. We kick it off with a green wood type. That's basically the log. Then you go ahead and strip it and you turn it into the same thing, but it's all yellow now. Then, of course, you can go ahead and condense that down into staircases, slabs, and planks. Ooh, it's clean. Then, after that, we have all of our standard stuff, but we have something brand new, different, unique to any other wood type. They don't have it. So first things first, we make the log just like that. Then, like I said, you place it down, you strip it if you want. Or, inside of the crafting table, you break it down into 2 planks. Now, after you break it down into planks, break it into slabs. Then go ahead and put 2 slabs on top of each other in the crafting table, and you get the brand new bamboo mosaic block. Obviously, it fits in with the whole wood family right there, but it's got this like crazy looking design. Probably gonna be pretty good for like floors or something like that. Then we got the bamboo fence, pretty cool looking. New sounds right there. We got the bamboo door, again, amazing chef's kiss. We got this trap door, really nice, pressure plate button, and a brand new beautiful sign right there. And speaking of new signs, very expensive but very beautiful, 1.20 introduces a whole bunch of brand new signs. Look at these things right here. These are all of the brand new hanging sign items. You got a brand new hanging sign for every single wood type in the game, including the new ones. Now, to craft a hanging sign, ooh, is painful, is really painful. You're gonna need 2 chains and 6 stripped logs of any type. Oh, at least you get like 6 of these things is cool, but yikes, oh, it's painful. To make the expensive cost a little bit worse, the sign is actually a little bit smaller when it comes to text than all of the other ones, but I mean, at least it's clean, and at least you can hang it off of things, so that's pretty cool. But speaking of signs, Minecraft 1.20 really is an update where they took old things in the game and try to make them a whole lot better. We got some brand new sign mechanics. Let's say I was typing out a sign and I messed up. Oh, you just click on it and you can go back into it and do anything that you want. By the way, I'm recording this in Java, but this guide is for Minecraft to Bedrock as well. It's all basically the same. Also, channel members, there's a world download to this very world out right now. Tap join for more info. So you made a sign, you forgot that you wanted to say something, no problem. You go back in and add that thing to the sign. It's really cool. Now, like you've been able to do for updates now, you can dye the sign, of course, it's wonderful. You can also glow the sign too. Even after you've dyed or glowed the sign, you can still go back in and change the sign. No big deal, doesn't matter at all. Even more amazingly, take a seat, because you can go to the back of the sign and say anything you want in the world. If you have a different message that you wanted to put on the back for people like walking into the town, no problem. You put a different message on the sign, and even you can make it a completely different color. It's really cool. Now, once your sign is said and done, what you're going to want to do is use honeycomb on a sign to wax it. Once you've waxed your sign, you can no longer edit it on either side. This is literally one of the most painful updates of all time. Is painful. You got a brand new mob head in Minecraft. This boy is called the Piglin mob head. You put it on, you walk around, the ears flap. It's really cool. Same thing happens when you power with a signal. But it's a Piglin mob head. I almost don't even want to tell you about this one, because this is by far going to be the hardest thing to get in Minecraft 1.20. You see, friend, once you've made it over to the nether with an adult Piglin, you're also going to need a charged creeper. Go ahead and ignite that charged creeper somehow near that thing. Yeah, okay, I guess the totem only works if you're holding it. But anyway, the charged creeper blows up the Piglin, and just like that, you've got one brand new mob head. Back in the safety of the overworld, way more safe. And speaking of mob heads, we got a brand new functionality. Listen to this. Oh, it's evil, it's devious, it's dangerous, it's the best brand new prank in the game. You put a mob head, any kind of mob head in the game, on top of a note block, and you play the note block, and it will play that mob sound. If you're a big fan of data packs, it's also possible to add custom sounds in too. It's pretty sweet. The Chiseled bookshelf is one of those OG Minecraft 1.20 features, as in, it was announced way back at Minecraft Live, like last year. The Chiseled bookshelf is a pretty nice new block. It's a brand new storage block, but also a redstone block too. We got a bookshelf here. We take books, enchanted books, written books, it doesn't matter at all. You can put them all inside of the bookshelf, in any order too. Now, if we go ahead and hook a comparator up to the back of this thing, things get even more interesting. With a comparator hooked up to the back of the Chiseled bookshelf, it will remember what slot you interacted with last. So this slot right here, being the second one, is going to give a redstone signal of 2. This one over here, being the 6th one, that gives a redstone signal of a 6. This is by far maybe the coolest way to make a secret door in 1.20. Bookshelf is beautiful, but moving on. If you've been out of the loop when it comes to 1.20, I am about to give you one of the most beautiful moments ever. I wish I could have this moment too, because you remember this archaeology system. It was announced years ago. This stuff is like essentially the final big miss in caves and cliffs feature. Well, my friend, the caves and cliffs is done. In Minecraft 1.20, first things first, head over to your local copper farm, your local stick farm, and your local chicken farm. Then go over to the crafting table. Inside of the crafting table, in a straight line, we're going to go ahead and put these things. We're going to get a brand new tool called the brush. Now, the brush works with 2 brand new blocks, suspicious gravel and suspicious sand. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we? The brush is a brand new tool. Do we have any new enchantments inside of the enchanting table? Sad music. Unfortunately, no enchantments. It's not like that in this update. There's not a single one. But big fan of enchanted tools, rejoice, because you are actually able to put enchantments on this. Inside of the anvil, you can put mending, unbreaking, and curse of vanishing on it. Now, the sus blocks. The sus blocks are brand new, non-craftable blocks that you'll find generating around your world, typically inside of structures or around structures. Take the brush and use it on a sus block, and slowly, it will kind of basically break away. Now, you have to be careful with these sus blocks here. As you can see, they blend in with their normal counterpart. We got sand, we got gravel over there. No red sand, no dirt, nothing like that, unfortunately. Check this out. As we start brushing, an item is slowly going to pop out right here. If I stop and let go, the item will actually slowly sink back in. However, once the item has shown a little bit, it's determined forever, meaning you can't change it. If we go ahead and finish that, oh my. What is this? Tied in with this really big archaeology excavation system in 1.20 is a brand new type of pot, and ooh, it's fire, it's style, it's really cool. If you don't want to do any archaeology, great news. Grab 4 bricks, drop them in the crafting table, and you get this. This little guy right here is a brand new item called the decorated pot. It's got one of the most interesting looking block models in the entire game. Even better, you combine the pot with the pot, and then a plant or something, and oh, that looks so good. A great way to show off plants. Oh, but the beauty doesn't stop there. It's also actually a storage thing too. Oh, just kidding. Yeah, no, the decorated pot doesn't do anything at all other than sit there and look pretty. Maybe it smiles at you perhaps if you're highly hallucinative, maybe it's smiling at you or something, winking even, but other than that, it doesn't do anything. You can put it there and make it look pretty good. You can put it there and make it look pretty good with the brand new, beautiful, shard items. Minecraft 1.20 comes with a total of 20 brand new shards. Shards are essentially storytelling items that go on a decorated pot. When it comes to these beauty shards, like I said, we got 20 of them. In alphabetical order, here are some of the shards. They look really, really good. And for the most part, they kind of depict exactly what their name sounds like. Now, if you're looking for these shards, then you're going to have to go all over your world. Shards are never inside of a chest, unless you put them there. You're going to usually find shards instead inside of a sus block. So take that brush a block away that's at a structure, and then you get one of these if you're lucky. Now let's say we had any random combination of 4 different shards. We would take those shards with us back over to a crafting table. Inside of the crafting table, we place them inside of the sink just like we did with the bricks a second ago, and now we have a brand new pot. After we have that pot, we go ahead and place it down, and, well, we can look at it. It's pretty cool. The pot is a rotational block, meaning whichever way you're facing is how the pot is going to face when you place it down. My personal favorite shirt out of every single one of these ones here has got to be the Mourner one. Like, this thing is just evil looking. It's so mysterious. I also really like this chest one, too. It's pretty fire. But how, my friend, how does excavation work, and where do you find all of these things and some of the other things? Well, what if I told you just about every structure is updated in 1.20? Desert well, updated. Shipwreck, updated. Ruined portal, not the ruined portal. The ruined portal is like one of the only things that didn't get an update. That's the same. Minecraft 1.20 is really an update all about exploration. Head out into your world, just like I'm gonna do in that brand new series that starts tomorrow, and explore. Say eventually you find the desert pyramid, same thing for years, except now it's not. Inside of the desert pyramid, there's a brand new room here. Inside of the brand new room, that's always gonna be in one of the 2 back corners, you're gonna find the sus blocks. You brush the sus blocks away for shards, or maybe a little bit of treasure. Just about every structure in Minecraft has actually received an update inside of this update. Whether it's new rooms like the desert pyramid, an actual use like the desert well, or just new loot, kind of like the pillager outpost. There's updates everywhere. You gotta explore. But when it comes to the archaeology system in 1.20, there is a new structure too, and the structure is really complex. The Trail Ruins is a brand new structure added to the game in Minecraft 1.20, but it's gonna be a little bit tricky to find. And on Bedrock, it's insanely bugged. Now, the Trail Ruins is a really advanced structure. There's a lot to it. I've got a dedicated guide on the Trail Ruins and actually a lot of other cool 1.20 things. If you're interested in the Trail Ruins and you'd like to know a little bit more about this thing, then I recommend checking out the full Everything Series episode after this video. We got a lot of other things to talk about today, so to make a long story very short, find the Trail Ruins. Then at the Trail Ruins, once you find this thing, carefully dig away blocks until you find the sus blocks. Then brush the blocks away instead. Brush them away, hopefully get some loot. The loot sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. Continue your way into the Trail Ruin structure, digging deeper and deeper and deeper. Inside of this structure, once you've made your way to the bottom of it, continue brushing away, and you're actually going to start to find loot that's even better than what you were finding before. Or you'll find more junk. It's all up to you. The Trail Ruin structure itself is a very big structure. Almost 100 individual components make up this structure. There's a whole lot to it. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. And if you don't know much about it, then you're definitely going to want to know more. So check out that video next. One of the best things that you're able to find inside of the Trail Ruins, if you're lucky, is this new disc that looks so clean. It's not only about looks with this thing though, this sounds really fire too. But we don't have time to listen to it all today, so just find it and listen to it for yourself. It reminds me of RuneScape. Inside of 1.20, the Desert Well and the Desert Temple get an update, but so does the Desert Village. In 1.20, at every single Desert Village, you're always going to find one single camel generated in. Head over to the Desert Village with a saddle in hand, throw it on the camel, then get on the camel, and oh my gosh, you have found one of the best new land transports in the game. This thing is like a boat with legs. You can put 2 people inside of it. It also has this really cool new yeet ability. You hold down the jump button, charge it up, and you can yeet like 10 blocks. That's pretty cool. Also, because this thing is so tall, look at this thing. We got a husk right there. I sit on top of it, but it can't reach me. For the most part, I'm always going to be safe on top of this thing. The camel is amazing. Feed a cactus and something magical happens. Woo, new transport. This one is fire, though. It's not only all about the camel in this update, it's also about the brand new type of boat. Inside of the crafting table with bamboo wood and bamboo wood only, you get a brand new raft. And then not to forget about it, if you wanted to, you could turn it into chest raft too, but we're not worried about that one. We got one of those right there. This is a raft. It's basically the same thing as a boat, except it blocks a little bit less view and it sits a little bit higher. However, the camel is not the only mob inside of 1.20. At last year's mob vote, it wasn't even close. By far, easily hands down, the Sniffer cleaned up the competition. Fast forward a couple months, and here we go. We got that Sniffer beautifully inside of the game now. It's Minecraft's first dinosaur, and it actually has some really cool mechanics too. Well, don't get me wrong, the Sniffer is great, but we begin with a little bit of bad news here. If you want to find the Sniffer, you head over to the Ocean Ruin, another old structure that was updated in this update. We're going to need to do a little bit of digging over at the Ocean Ruins. We need to look for the sus blocks. Hopefully they generated with your Ocean Ruin, because they didn't generate with mine. Long story short though, if you're lucky, at the Warm Ocean Ruin, you find the sus blocks, you brush them away, and maybe you get this brand new gigantic egg item. This is the Sniffer egg. Take it back to land and place it down. Now, good news with this thing, you don't really need to be careful. They'll just hatch on its own, and nothing actually like targets it out, like the turtle egg. So it's basically safe. It does take a long time to hatch though. However, once it does hatch, we get Snifflet right there. So amazing. And then we give the Snifflet a little bit more time, and it'll grow up into Big Sniffer. Now we need to take the Sniffer over to a diggable block, so something like dirt or grass. Now eventually here, when our friend stops walking and throws itself out of the ground or sploots itself down, it'll start digging, and then it'll throw up a seed on the ground. The Sniffer's whole point is bring it back to life, and it'll find you new extinct plants. New extinct plants. As of Minecraft 1.20, we have 2 of them. One of them is called the torch flower. You can turn the torch flower into orange dye. Now, for reasons that I don't really want to get into, the torch flower is a little bit disappointing. Maybe you'll figure it out, but long story short, it comes from a seed. The Sniffer digs up the seed, you take it back to farmland, and you gotta let it grow up. Just like any other normal crop, you let this thing grow up on its own, or you can go ahead and bone meal it. Bone meal it a couple times, and it grows up. Once it grows up, break the plant, and you get the plant. The torch flower is plant number 1. Plant number 2 is the pitcher plant. Wow, this thing is gorgeous. Look at how it looks when it's growing. When you plant the pitcher plant down, it's like a small square. You go ahead and bone meal it. It gets like a leaf right there. That stage is so good. I wish we could keep it. We go ahead and keep growing this thing up, and eventually it turns into that. Once it turns into that, we go ahead and pick it up, put it inside of a crafting table for 2 cyan dye, or you place it down. Unfortunately, this is the first too tall flower you cannot bone meal. The stuff is pretty nice though, but moving on from the sniffer to the other beautiful wood type, wow, this stuff might be even better than bamboo. I still can't decide. Brand new cherry wood is added to the game in Minecraft 1.20. Now it's a fact that I kind of love to say, but it's not only the darkest wood type in the game with that log right there, but it's also the lightest wood type in the game with the planks right there. The sign looks so clean, the hanging one so good too. The gates right there, you got a unique sound. It's pretty nice. We got a really clean door too. I can't wait to build with this in the new guide. Oh man, I love it. We got a nice trap door. We got, excuse me. Now, even if you live under a rock, you have to have heard about this by now, but cherry wood. It comes from the brand new Cherry Grove biome. It's beautiful. Look at the cherry blossoms all over this thing. Now, the Cherry Grove biome, it's a mountain biome, so look in a mountainy area. If you check out a world download for this world, you'll find this one right next to the big platform. The ambiance inside of the Cherry Grove biome, it is beautiful. You got these cherry trees all over the place that actually drop particles out of the leaves. It's so nice. You got a new flower on the ground, and just like one of the cleanest grass colors as well. I love this place. It's so nice. When it comes to unique biome things, for this one, it's really just all about the trees and the flowers. You kind of got some normal mobs spawning here, and well, that's really it. This biome is so clean though. If you're not going to build in it in 1.20, it's one of the best biomes to have as your scenic backdrop. It looks so good. And like we just saw inside the biome, you have the brand new cherry trees with this clean cherry sapling looking plant, and you got the leaves as well. Now the leaves are really cool because no matter what, whenever you place these things down, they will always make the particles, which means definitely go there, shear the leaves, bring them back, place them down, and I drop particles down below them, and they kind of like float off to the side. That's so nice. You'll also be able to find those new pink petals inside of that biome. Just like the name suggests, you could turn these things into pink dye, but maybe they're a little bit better to place it down because this flower is so unique. It's actually a rotational flower, meaning like, depending on which way you're facing is where it's going to pop up on a block. This is actually 4 flowers right there. If I go ahead and bone meal 1 flower, they will like slowly grow in. Not gonna lie, I do kind of wish they would update the existing flowers into like a system like this because it's really nice. I think that looks so clean. Dye is actually more useful than ever inside of this update because in a smaller change that has taken place, you can now actually recolor any type of wool in the game. You have cyan wool that you really want to just be green? Well, not a problem. You could actually dye them for the first time ever. Previously, if you can remember, you could only dye white wool inside of the crafting table. This is also going to apply for carpets as well. If I have a carpet that I already dyed but I want to re-dye it, not a problem. And speaking of dyeing, in a more minor change that you'll only notice if you have access to creative mode, inside of the creative inventory inside of this update, some items, like the roots for example, have been reorganized, reordered. For our next chapter of this video, if you will, we move on to one of the biggest things in 1.20. Everything has changed when it comes to armor, quite literally. The smithing table is brand new and refreshed. This is what the UI looks like. The recipe is still the same. There are no armor stands with arms on Minecraft Java still. Other than this. Now remember, if you haven't yet, drop your favorite 1.20 change down in the comments, but by far, my personal favorite one is armor trim right here. Oh my gosh, this is so good looking. I am so excited to find this stuff in my world. I cannot wait. Armor trim is a new feature that will literally send you all over the world. To find this stuff, you're gonna have to check inside of loots, inside of different random structures. The trim items, the icons, some of them kind of give it away as to where you're gonna wanna look. In total here, you have 16 different armor trims in the game. Now, when it comes to armor trim, just like the trail runes, I got a dedicated video on how to find all of these inside of your world and where to find them, how hard it's going to be, stuff like that. So check that out after this one. Armor trims are so clean. My personal favorite one, and I think a lot of people's favorite one, is the silence one. You also are going to have designs in the back of all of these armor trims too. Woo, just so fresh, so nice looking. Just like a lot of the other 1.20 features, there's a lot to it. We really don't have time for all of it today, but for a quick guide to trims, first go to a structure and hopefully get lucky. Inside of some structures, you'll find 2 armor trims. then grab them. With your newfound armor trims in hand, head back over to your base. Then go to a smithing table. Inside of the smithing table, armor trim goes in that first slot. In the second one, an armor piece. In the third one, a material. Now, these materials that you can input, they vary. In total, we've got 10 of them. Typically, they're kind of like your resourcey ones, like gold, diamonds, emeralds, and even quartz. Put any material inside of that final slot, and then you've got a preview as to what you're about to create right here. Once we confirm this one and take it right there, the trim and the material is used up, and the armor is now actually trimmed with that new design. Pretty clean looking. If you don't like the design, good news. You can go ahead and trim over it, but it's kind of expensive. You may not realize it at first, but armor trim is a feature that makes diamonds way more valuable again. Check this out. We put a trim up top, we put a material that the trim appears to be made out of right there, and then diamonds all over the place, and you can actually clone these things. This is going to make diamonds way more valuable than ever, because if you want to use these things and have a good supply, you're going to have a lot of diamonds. Check out a dedicated find it video for all of these trims, and keep your eyes out for an updated guide soon. Because that's not the only thing the smithing table does. Oh, it's painful. Netherite armor has always been a grind, but oh man, the grind has increased in this update. First things first, go into your world and find the diamond things. You make the tools, you make the armor. Then go ahead and find one of these things. You gotta find the upgrade template. Into the smithing table, if I put diamond armor, netherite ingot in here, it doesn't work anymore. That's because we're missing a key ingredient. This thing right here, the smithing template netherite upgrade. This is the new way to upgrade anything, armor, tool, and all, into netherite. Now, just like the trim items we were just talking about, they are actually consumed when you use them, meaning if you only find one and you use it, it's gone, you gotta find another one. Instead, before you do anything with this thing, definitely at least clone this thing, duplicate it, and keep one, never use one. You always wanna have the source. For this one, it's actually back over to the nether. Once you've made it to the nether, explore. You gotta find the Piglin bastion structure, and then fingers crossed, you gotta be a little bit lucky. If you're looking for Minecraft's best armor, there's over to the Piglin bastion for you. Inside of the treasure chests in the Piglin bastion, you will always find one smithing template for the netherite upgrade. Inside of some of the other chests, you also have a chance to find one if you're really, really lucky, but this thing is actually, like, pretty rare. Don't plan on getting as lucky as I was here today. Good luck. Out of all of the changes in 1.20, I would say this netherite upgrade change is by far the most divisive upgrade of them all. It's pretty different. Speaking of pretty different, the Skulk sensor, surprise, gets an update inside of this update too. Take that plain old classic sensor from the last update and actually combine it with amethyst from the last update. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit of science. Here we have a Skulk sensor with a redstone lamp. When I move around, like when it hears me, it's gonna light up the lamp, right? As I start to move away from this thing though, like as in more than 8 blocks away from it, I move around, it doesn't hear me anymore. It's kind of weak. Let's go ahead and mark where we are, which is right there, where the sensor definitely cannot hear me, and swap it out for the new one. Then we'll go ahead and move back over to this spot right here and move around, and oh, it's hearing me. I move even farther, and it's still hearing me, and also, it's hearing me way quicker than ever before, too. The calibrated Skulk sensor is literally twice as good as the old one. The calibrated sensor detects vibes twice as fast as the old one, and twice as far. It also could be calibrated. Long story short, to calibrate this thing, have a comparator go into it coming from a lectern. Inside of the lectern, place a written book with at least 15 pages, then turn the page a little bit higher up. Now, because that vibration that I'm making would have a signal strength that is less than 7, it's not going to hear me at all. Now, we also have a new mechanic called vibration resonance, which basically lets you send a vibration however far you'd like. To do this, all you need to do is put amethyst block right next to a sensor. This could be a calibrated one or a normal one. It doesn't matter at all. With our setup looking something like that, if I move around over here, I can relay a vibration all the way over to that lamp right there and actually light it up. Combine it all with a calibrated Skulk sensor, and you got something that is actually pretty cool. And still in the world of Skulk updates for one more second, the Skulk streaker has changed. If you waterlog this thing, it will still scream, but it won't actually make the noise. That's an evil silent trap. And last but not least, real quick before we wrap up, some smaller changes. Of course, as always, like in every other update, we got some new splash texts. Those yellow things. When creating a world inside of this new world screen that was added in 1.19.4, you've got experiments. Before you create a world, if you want to play with the bundle too, turn this one on. Inside of 1.20, we have a handful of new advancements. They're all tied to some of the new content in the update. When it comes to technical changes, we also technically have some technical changes, including a brand new /return command. And by default, loot tables are no longer entirely random. This is a big one. This loot table stuff is going to affect a lot of things in your world, like the actual loot containers, fishing, etc., even Piglin bartering. To explain it, let's say we go ahead and mine the gravel. 5 gravel down and nothing. So let's go ahead and mine a little bit more. We continue digging gravel until we find flint. Right there, that one will say maybe the 10th one. That means every single time I make this world with this seed, I mine 10 gravel. On the 11th one, I get a flint. Like I said, there's kind of a lot to it, but that's like the basics of it. And when it comes to tags, oh my gosh, it got like a million brand new tags inside of this update. In fact, it might be the most ever. It's very technical. And finally for today, vibes. Vibrations, they've changed completely inside of this update. The whole system got a rework in 1.20. Everything inside of Minecraft 1.20. Version Java, version Bedrock. That's just about it. In total, if we'd like to look at every item laid out for you here in the update, all of that right there, plus all of that right there. This update is so big. What do you think? Do you like this update? Do you not? If there's something that I miss, huge bonus points to you if you can call me out on it down below. But I think I got it all. Tap like and subscribe for more. Tomorrow, truly, a new era begins over here on the Waddles channel with a brand new Minecraft Guide 1.20. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you all for watching. Check out one of those guides next, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.